Today we'll be talking about Andy Warhol, the artist. He was born in 1928 in Pennsylvania. When he was 6 years old, he got a liver disease which made his body spasm. That's when his mum taught him to do art. When Andy was 14, unfortunately his father also got liver disease and died. When Andy came out of college, he went to New York to become an artistic person who does art. Over the next 10 years of Andy's life, he became a commercial artist, winning prizes, but he wanted more! Later in his life, Andy became famous for something called pop art. This is one of his most famous paintings. It's the Cannibal Soup Can. Cannibal. This is an original, and I bought it, and I am bankrupt! No! Andy Warhol printed his work on silk screen in a process called lithography. Between me, this guy, and you, he barely even did any of his work. He had like a guy in the back printing off everything on the silk, and he only got one doll hair an hour doing it. It's just not fair. Ooh. He also did prints of famous people in different colours. A 13-year-old boy wanted to interview Andy, but Andy said, "Hey, do you want a job, kid?" And the kid said, "Okay." As well as artwork, Andy Warhol also liked to do movies. He made a movie about someone sleeping, and it was for 8 hours. Jeez, it was just someone sleeping. It's not that important. In 1963, he met a woman named Valerie. She asked him to produce her play Up Your Donkey. She gave him her script, which she later accused him of stealing. She demanded money for her script. Andy got so bored of listening to her moaning, so she put her in one of her films that only paying her 25 doll hairs. Then she began to self-publish a book called The Scum Manifesto. It was about destroying men entirely. She had a group of followers, and two of them was 2 men who promised to destroy themselves. Andy became so rich and so famous that he bought himself something called the Factory. The Factory wasn't just for art, it was also used for partying. Sorry, I can't hear you because of all the art. He would spend all night partying and all day doing the Z's. This is where that 13-year-old boy came in. Andy said, "Wake me up at a sensible time." And that sensible time was about 4 p.m. in the afternoon. Going back to Valerie. In 1968, she became so paranoid. She was so sure that Andy was trying to steal her manifesto scum. So she went off and bought 2 pew 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 gun thingies. On June 3rd, 1968, she went to the factory. She found Andy Warhol. Quickly, she took out both her guns. Pew pew pew! The first 2 missing, but the 3rd one hitting him in his lungs, his spleen, his liver, and his esophagus. Oh!
Nice.
But surprisingly, he survived. But unfortunately, he had to wear a body corset for the rest of his life. Although the gun didn't kill him, but he basically did, because he's supposed to have like an operation, but he got so scared that he just didn't, and he died. Game over for Andy. I have hiccups. Yay! The first 2 bullets missing, but the third one hitting him in his esophagus. The first 2 missing, but the third one hitting him in his lungs, his spleen, his larvae.